Are you looking for 8 best things to do in Calgary? There are several motives to visit Calgary, the maximum apparent one being to hit the slopes. Perched withinside the foothills of the Canadian Rockies, the town will become a domestic base for lots iciness sports activities enthusiasts. Stop by a way of means of the Canada Olympic Park to look at athletes teach or maybe attempt out a number of the centers for yourself. And don't forget that there is an awful lot extra to this town than ski slopes and trekking trails. You can relive the previous Wild West glory days at Heritage Park, cheer at the nearby sports activities groups on the Saddledome, or bask in a bit retail remedy alongside the Stephen Avenue Walk. If you've got children in tow, take a stroll at the wild facet on the Calgary Zoo. Here is the list of 8 best. Heralded is certainly considered one among Canada's finest. The Glen Bow Museum caters to records buffs and artwork fanatics alike. Exhibits right here recognition especially at the way of life of Western Canada, offering the whole thing from interactive shows at the First Nations tribes to an in-depth series of Navy memorabilia. However, there also are shows of European art, Asian sculpture, or even West African artifacts, plus masses of hands-on sports to hold young consisting of the 4 founding regimental museums and the Naval, Army, and Air Force Museums of Alberta. The Military Museums of Calgary is the second biggest Navy museum in Canada. Visitors can find out about records, heritage, artwork, and extra approximately the Canadians who served their USA at some stage in the years. Highlights with inside the numerous collections encompass the Enigma machine with inside the Naval Museum. Known because the Enigma K, the tool on show become brought in 1927 and become constructed by a way of means of the Swiss to encode and decode Navy communication. Another must-see is the CF-104 Starfighter, a Cold War generation fighter plane positioned with inside the Air Force exhibit. But those gadgets are simply the top of the iceberg. On the large Prince's Island Park spans almost 50 acres and is successful with sight visitors in want of stunning stroll. Trails coated with cottonwood timber attraction to walkers and bikers alike, whilst normal fares and an outside theater beckon to way of life hounds. For food, simply observe the footbridge throughout the Bow River to the stalls of Eau Claire Market. Looking for extra delicate dining? Then the large Calgary Zoo homes almost 1,000 animals, from tigers to gorillas, in enclosures which are consultant in their herbal habitats. Stop by a way of means of Panda Passage to fulfill the zoo's massive pandas or test out Canada's bushy pals like moose and bears with inside the Canadian Wild section. But the animals are not the simplest motive to visit. The complicated is likewise domestic to a sprawling botanical garden, offering plants from throughout the world, and the prehistoric park, which showcases the region's records as a stomping Olympic park, a tribute to the 1988 Winter Olympic Games. This large sports activities complicated continues to be used at some stage in the 12 months as schooling grounds for younger athletes. If you are on the town for a flavor of clean powder, remember preventing right here first for a fast how-to on using the slopes. Downhill and cross-USA ski training are to be had for each children and adults. You also can attempt your hand at different pursuits like bobsleigh and the luge if you are seeking out an extra comfortable outing. Forestall by a way of means of Canada's Sports Hall of Fame. That's domestic to the world's biggest series of artifacts from the competition's records, which include costumes, photos, and the torch used to hold Calgary's Wild West. Beyond nevertheless prospers at this 66-acre living records village, nestled beside the Glenmore Reservoir and simply south of downtown. This records lovers' paradise swarms with costumed personnel reenacting instances long passed by a way of means of. You'll discover a 1860s duplicate of a fur buying and selling post, a ranch, and an incidental village. You also can take a trip on a steam locomotive or a horse-drawn wagon or cruise the reservoir by a way of means of paddle-wheeler boat. For a higher know-how of Calgary's records, test out the Gasoline Alley Museum, domestic to several artifacts representing the town, occupying 3 blocks of downtown's 8th Avenue. The Stephen Avenue Walk is one of the town's maximum famous buying venues. This pedestrian simplest buying area, additionally dubbed a National Historic District, is coated with brand new stores, delectable eating places, or even numerous nightclubs. This downtown stretch is likewise the vicinity to head for avid way of life hounds, road performers, nearby artists, or even fairs are frequently discovered right here. Business tourists will probably make numerous stops right here as the road is domestic to the Calgary TELUS Convention Center and the Hyatt Regency Calgary. And the Calgary Stampede would not fulfill your urge for food for equine action, make your manner to Spruce Meadows. This top-notch wearing facility whose call springs from the encompassing spruce timber, hosts a number of Canada's maximum distinguished horseback-using occasions. Here, gifted jockeys compete for countrywide titles and adrenaline-pumping occasions like display jumping.